Have you ever used puppets in your classroom? Are you looking for a way to try them this year? Well, I have a couple of ideas for you using a bag or a shoebox, and I'll show you how after this. Hey everyone, Stephen Fite here. Thanks for stopping by my YouTube music channel. Now, if you have not yet subscribed, I would love for you to consider doing so that you'll be notified every time I upload a teacher video just like this one, or a video for your classroom that you can use with your children. Puppets in the classroom are a lot of fun and very engaging for the children. Now, a lot of teachers don't feel qualified to use puppets, but let me tell you, it is so simple, so easy a caveman can do it. In fact, you can start off with something as simplistic as a finger puppet, just like this little field mouse right here. Now, admittedly, the field mouse on your finger doesn't elicit a lot of imagination amongst the kids, but whenever you combine it with a prop, or better yet, a home for your mouse, the children will see this little guy come alive before their very eyes. You can use something as simple as a lunch sack just like this with a hole cut in the end. You start off by putting this little guy inside, making some racket, moving him around, and then letting him pop out of the end just like that. And there he is. And the children can't really see your finger holding this puppet. So for them, this mouse is real. Now, we call this little guy Whiskers. You can call him whatever you would like, but Whiskers seems like an appropriate name for a little mouse, just like this. Now, of course, the bag is fun, very easy, very simplistic, but we can up our game a little bit in the classroom and graduate to something like this. Now, this is an old shoebox that I have been saving for years for just such an occasion. I knew that it would come in handy someday, and as soon as I got this little mouse, I knew exactly what its purpose would be. So what I did was I glued the top, cut a little hatch in the bottom on 3 sides, big enough for your hand, and then put a hole right here. Now I had to cut this out with a jigsaw, but you could also do it with a regular kitchen knife or a sharp blade of any kind. And then we wanted to give the mouse's house a name, so we called it the mouse house. And over here we've got cheese. Now this is to point out to the children that, of course, our mouse likes cheese, and this is where we do put that cheese. Now, take the mouse, put it inside the hatch, and let him appear just like this. All you have to do is work with this little guy, maybe work with him in front of the mirror to see what type of movements that you can come up with, and he'll become very, very lifelike very, very soon for you, and especially for the children. Now, the first time I used this, I took this to a pre-K classroom in Edmond, Oklahoma, and tried it out with the children. Of course, they knew me, and as soon as I walked in, they said, "Mr. Fite, what is inside the box?" And I said, "Well, children, the thing that is inside this box is very, very shy. So you'll have to be very, very quiet. And you'll have to sit crisscross applesauce, hands in your laps, especially when it appears. Make sure that you do not make any loud noises or it might go back in the box." So I put my hand inside the box with that little field mouse attached, and he popped out just like this very slowly. And those children, even though they wanted to erupt, they did an amazing job. They used their self-control, and they were as quiet as church mice. Even though their smiles were ear to ear and their eyes were as big as plates, they were totally engaged and using their manners and trying not to scare off our little mouse. I've put together a couple of chants and songs that we can use in conjunction with our mouse. The first chant goes like this: little mouse, are you home? Are you in there all alone? I brought lunch with cheese to spare. Little mouse, are you there? And that's just a chant that you can use to call the mouse out whenever you bring him out in the morning or the afternoon. Now, I also put together a little song based on the song Farajaka, or Are You Sleeping? And it goes like this: are you sleeping, little mouse? I can hear you scurry, always in a hurry, in your house. So, just a couple of fun musical, rhythmic ways that you can use to call out your mouse. Now, if you want to allow the children the opportunity to feed your mouse, just cut some tag board into shapes like this. Cheese colored, of course. You could give out 2 or 3 rectangles, 2 or 3 rhombuses, 2 or 3 squares, 2 or 3 circles. So once you've given out the shapes, you might call all the children who have triangles. Say, please stand up and come feed the mouse. You pull the mouse in, let them put the triangle inside, and they have fed the mouse. And you move that mouse around inside, make it sound like he's eating, having a great time. Now, the teacher that I was working with in the pre-K classroom here in Edmond had the children give her rhyming words before they were allowed to put their piece of cheese inside. So there's all sorts of different ways that you can make this a little more interesting, a little more fun, a little more educational for the children. I'm hoping this gives you some ideas on how you can put puppets to use in your classroom and also wipes away any fear that you might have about trying to be a puppet master in your own room, because it is so simple and very easy for you to do, and it will reap rewards with your children. All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by, and go sing your way through the day. Bye, Whiskers.